It is about 5,000 degrees in this room and someone has moved my handheld fan off my desk. I am not going to hold it against said person, although I may, by the end of this video when my makeup is in a puddle on the floor. Anyway, we're going to crack straight on with it. If you have been looking for the perfect bronzer for spring and summer, you have a fair to light skin tone and you are fed up of bronzers being too deep, you are not able to put enough on your skin for fear it is going to turn you into a tangerine, I have you covered, and I have all price points covered as well. Whether you're looking for a cream bronzer or a powder bronzer, stay tuned. I have something for everybody. In fact, I have a lot for everybody. There are 20 or so bronzers in this video, so buckle up. Let's crack on. So I'm going to give you bronzer options for pretty much every scenario, and then at the end of this video I will rank my top 3, maybe 5 bronzers so you know which ones are my favorites. First up, let's do cream bronzers. First up, we have the Modern Radiance Cream Bronzer from Vive. This is in the shade Light, although it does come in other shades as well. And as you can see, this is a lovely, neutral, more dominant, cool bronzer. And it's really light in shade as well. I absolutely love this. If I'm being completely honest, maybe it is a little bit too light for even me. So if you really do have a very fair skin tone, this may be the perfect bronzer for you. I wish this was slightly deeper in tone to be perfection for me, but as you can see, it has been heavily used. I love it. I like to use this as a contour because it is so good at what it does. The blendability of this product is phenomenal and it just melts into the skin superbly well. A beautiful product. Again, comes in various shades, so if you do want something a little deeper, you can go deeper, but this one, absolute perfection for a fair skin tone. Next up, we have the bronzer that I have on today. This is the Rare Beauty bronzing stick in the shade Happy Sol. If you are wanting an element of bronze, you're not wanting something super cool, but you're wanting to look bronze, but you're not wanting to look too dark, and you definitely don't want to look orange, this is where I would point you towards. It has the most beautiful level of bronziness versus pinkiness in there. So it is subtle, it is not too deep, but if you want that level of depth, you can build this up to however deep you want it. And yeah, I absolutely love it. It is so convenient. It's in stick format. It is creamy and yet it's not a wet cream. It's more of a dry cream. And even though you have that dryness to the consistency, it melts into the skin and blends out superbly well. I've gone through several of these. I very rarely come to the end of any product, and yet, you know, it's a great one. This is so good. If you're wanting something very similar to the Vive Cream Bronzer in the shade Light, but you don't like a pot-based product, or you're wanting something more affordable, the Maybelline Lifter Stick in the shade 30 is a phenomenal bronzer. Now, it's very similar in consistency, so it's a cream, but it's not an overly wet cream. Very similar tones, so level of tones, but different undertones. So the Vive is more on the neutral spectrum, whereas the Lifter Stick in the shade 30 is neutral, bordering more dominant pinky undertone. So if you cannot take any level of bronziness whatsoever and you're wanting something affordable, this is fantastic. It doesn't have any shimmer in either of these products, but it does give you a little bit of glow on the cheek. So it does give you that slight bit of luminosity without any of the shiny sparkliness that some bronzers can give you. So both of these options, absolutely fantastic. If you're wanting something slightly bronzier, this is what I would go for, and this is my favorite of the Lifter Sticks. So this is the shade 65. It is a lot deeper, but you can be heavy-handed with this, unlike some other bronzers, because it blends out so superbly well. So I apply this to the tops of my cheekbones, I apply this over my forehead, tip of my chin, down my nose. I absolutely love it. It blends like a dream and it lasts for a really long time as well. Again, unlike some other cream bronzers, these are fantastic. If you're wanting something completely neutral that is semi-affordable, I would say this is on the high end of affordable. It's the No. 7 Pro Artist Bronze and Glow Face and Eye Multi-Stick. So this is a multi-purpose product and it's dual-ended. This one is in the shade Light Bronze and the bronzer in this is stunning, absolutely beautiful. It doesn't really have that pinkiness to it, but it also doesn't have the warmth of that orangey undertone either. It is very, very neutral in the middle and the shade blends out once again beautifully. No sparkle, not very much radiance. It is going to give you a little bit of a sheen, but nothing major to write home about. If you do want that sheen, however, it does have a highlighter stick on the other end, which has been used probably once because I'm not really into highlighters, but the product itself is worth going out and buying just for the bronzer on one end. It's lovely. Let's move on to powder bronzers. I've spoken about these powder bronzers so many times on my channel, it will be no surprise that they are featuring in this video. These are the Victoria Beckham Bronzing Bricks and they are fantastic. Both of these have been heavily used. If I'm being completely honest, the shade 2, which is this one, is more heavily used than the fairer version of 01, but they are for different people. So if you have a really fair undertone and you're wanting something more on the yellowy side, but more neutral, this is the one that I would go for, 01. I actually like something slightly pinkier and slightly deeper. Only a little bit deeper, but slightly deeper, which is why I love the 02. So you get the best of both worlds in 02. You get a really nice bronzer that is more on the cooler side. You also get a bronzer that has some level of depth in there, that bronziness that's going to give you that summer glow. If I'm wanting something more neutral, I mix both of them together. If I'm wanting a winter bronzer, I go for the lightest shade and vice versa for the summer bronzer. I like both of these, but again, depending on your undertone, depends on which one you may prefer. But I wanted to mention them both just in case we have people wanting different things, but expensive. So let's go for something slightly more affordable. The Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in the shade 02 is a definite favourite of mine. As you can see, this does not have any level of orangey tones in there whatsoever. This is very, very neutral. It has some pinky tones, a tiny bit of bronzy tones in there. So you're getting the best of both worlds, and the consistency and the texture of this, beautiful. It has a little bit of argan oil included within this formula, so it feels really hydrating on the skin. It feels like a wet powder, like a creamy powder. Even though it's not creamy, it is silky, silky smooth. The silky smoothness of this is second to none. If you put this in a lineup and you put a blindfold on me, I would not know that this was an affordable product. Obviously, it's affordable packaging. It's not amazing to look at, but it is a great bronzer all the same, and you can build this up. If you're wanting something slightly bronzier but more on the yellowy side and you're still wanting affordable, this is from Maybelline and it's the City Bronzer. I think this is probably the first bronzer that I properly fell in love with, because I'd never found a bronzer, probably before this one, that suited my undertone. This is just perfection. It does have a slight fleck of radiance in here, but it is nothing to write home about, so it is not flat matte, but it does make your skin look like skin, and I don't sparkle when I'm wearing this. Again, this has been heavily used. You can see the slight undertones of yellowy bronze in here, but it is still a really nice light tone, and you don't need to be frightened of it, because as soon as you start using this, you can build it up, but it is quite light to begin with, so you don't need to worry about being too heavy-handed. This one is in the shade Medium Cool 200. They do other shades in this as well, but this one is my favorite. I do have more affordable options for you a little later in this video, but let's just talk about Pat McGrath for a second, because I think these get overlooked. Very few people talk about these, and I have no idea why, because these are some of the best bronzers on the market, and the undertones of these are absolutely fantastic. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Pat. So these are the Pat McGrath Bronze Without Caution Glamorous Glow and Regal Radiance. Are they? No, that's not the name of it. It's the Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer. I thought that was a little long. Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer. So I have two shades of this. Naked Desire and Nude Honey. So let me show you both of these. Naked Desire is slightly more on the yellowy side and is slightly fairer. So if you have a warm undertone but you have a very fair complexion, Naked Desire is the one that I would recommend for you. The one that looks perfect on me is the shade Nude Honey. This is slightly pinkier in undertone, but it does have that level of bronze to it as well, so I can get the summer glow from this product. It doesn't have any radiance to this. It is a matte bronzer, but it makes my skin look like my skin, just a better version of it. It does not make my skin look matte and flat at all. So this is such a soft, really, really beautiful consistency bronzer. It is effortless to apply to the skin, and I love everything about it. So yeah, you also get a mirror within the packaging, which I think is really convenient, but two shades for different people, both fair skin tones. Take your pick. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you like your designer labels, these are stunning. These are absolutely beautiful, and you'll notice that one of them is way more used than the other because it is just lovely on my undertone. So I have two shades of the Dior Forever Nude Bronze. I have 02 Light, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal for anybody with a warmer undertone, a neutral undertone that's wanting slightly yellower undertones to their bronzer. There is a slight goldenness to this, but nothing orangey at all. Or if you're wanting something slightly deeper but slightly pinker in undertone, which is what I absolutely love, then the shade 03 in Soft Matte is the one that I would go for. So they do these in a couple of finishes, a radiant finish or a soft matte finish. Both finishes are exquisite. It just depends on your personal preference. I absolutely love the soft matte finish in 03, and as you can see, I mean, it's very, very used. You can't even see the CD on there anymore because, I mean, it's just rubbed off. I use this on my eyes, I use this on my face, I use this down my neck, I sometimes even use this on my arms. Lovely. Another luxury bronzer that's suitable for a fair to light skin tone without looking overly orange is the YSL All Hours Hyper Bronze. I have this in two different shades, 01 and 02. Now, there is a huge difference in both shades. Sometimes you get a very small difference, sometimes it's only slightly deeper. I would say this is considerably deeper in shade. So the 01 is considerably lighter than 02. If you're wanting something punchier, if you're wanting something much bronzier, 02 is going to be for you, but with a fair to light skin tone, it's not for the faint-hearted. This is for when I want to be super bronze. I often take this away on holiday with me. The one that is most suitable and the one that is more heavily used in my top drawer is the 01. This is so, so beautiful. Very neutral in undertone. So this really doesn't have very much pink in there, but it also doesn't have those overly bronzy, orangey tones in there either. Again, the consistency is stunning. It is very silky smooth. It transfers to the brush or to your fingers effortlessly and blends out superbly well on the skin. You do not need to worry about it being heavy-handed with the 01 either, but I would be slightly more cautious with the 02. This next one is an oldie but a goodie. It may be old, but it has not been forgotten about. And the reason for that is it's still superior quality to so many of the new bronzers that are coming out on the market now that cost more than this one does. This is my first high-end bronzer that I fell in love with, and as you can see, I have hit pan. It is so good. It is a really hard-pressed bronzer, so it is great for those of you that are scared of getting too much bronzer on the skin. Also, this has a very lovely neutral yet pinkier undertone. It's from NARS and it's their bronzing powder in the shade Viata. This is a matte bronzer. It does not have any sheen in there whatsoever. You can build this up beautifully. It doesn't look muddy on the skin. I absolutely love it. I adore this product. I have so many fond memories with this product. I need to get it out of my drawer more often. Again, it's not forgotten about. We cannot forget about this product because it's just so good. Has a mirror on there as well. Transfers to the cheek effortlessly. No smudging, no gathering, no sticking to any dry areas. It blends like a dream. What's not to like? The CE Skin Transforming Bronzers from Lancome are superb. They are so silky smooth and soft, and I could rub my finger around in one of these all day long. Once again, like all of the bronzers that are going to feature in this video, they transport to the skin superbly well with no patchiness, no cakiness, no clinging to dry areas at all. And once again, I have two shades in this, so depending on your undertone will depend on which shade you want to go for. So first up, we have the shade 01 Fair. As you can see, this is slightly yellowier in undertone. It does have a slight pinkiness to it though, so it is very, very neutral, but you are going to get the best of both worlds for this. If you have a seriously fair undertone, this is superb. Excellent quality, and the feel of this is so luxurious. If you are more like me, you're wanting something a little bronzier, but still on that pinky side, the 02 Light is the one that I would point you towards. Again, this has exactly the same texture. It's exactly the same formula, but it does have a slight more depth, so you are going to get that bronziness to the cheek. Both of these are matte products, but they're not overly matte, so they're not going to make you look flat. Really nice packaging, a mirror in both of these. I often mix these two together, but you know, it's a pricey way of doing it. They often have these on show on Lancome counters, so go and try them for yourself. If you're a member of Beauty Pie, you cannot go wrong with the Awesome Bronze powder bronzers. I have the shade Sunnyside and also have the shade Goldilocks. I will get Goldilocks out for you so that I'll swatch that shade next to this one as well, because they are different undertones. So the shade Sunnyside is a little bit more on the pinky side than the shade Goldilocks. Has that gold name in there. Obviously that is going to be bronzier and slightly more golden, so depending on the outcome that you require depends on which shade you would go for. These are lovely in consistency, a slightly firmer pressed, very creamy silky bronzer. You can pick up a lot of the product with one swipe of your finger, but it is not, once again, one of those bronzers that is going to scare you. Just make sure you get the right shade, nothing too deep, because it does transfer to the cheek quite punchily. It is very easy to blend out though, no patchiness, as with all the other bronzers that feature in this video. It is a matte bronzer, it is lovely at that. Once again, heavily used and worth its weight in gold. You can actually get refills for this, so you don't need to buy the packaging if you don't want to. You can just go and buy the refill, as long as you cover it over in your drawer or in your cupboard so that it's safe and protected. You should be fine. I have to mention this bronzer from Vive, and You may be a little surprised, as you can clearly see with this shade here, does look a lot on the orangey, bronzy side, and some people are not going to like that. Me personally, it is just the right level of bronziness for me, and I like to mix them both. If I'm not wanting something overly bronzy, I will mix them both. If I'm wanting something completely cool tone, I'll just go in for the shade Light 1. So this is from Vive, and it's the Modern Bronzer Bronzing Duo. Again, Light 1, Light 2. So you can mix these if I am on holiday, if I'm wanting to look like a bronzed goddess, I'll go straight in with Light 2 and use that on its own. It's not overly orange. It does look quite bronzy in the pan, but when it transfers to the cheek, it is more acceptable. Believe me, promise. I mean, just go into your local Space NK that stock Vive products. I think it's Space NK that stock Vive products, and try this out for yourself. If you're wanting a multi-purpose product, if you're wanting to be able to pick and choose and not have to buy 2 bronzers, absolutely stunning. Very similar to the Victoria Beckham, but slightly more affordable. And finally, let's discuss L'Oreal. This is the Infallible 24-Hour Matte Bronzer. So you are going to get a matte product in here. It is creamy, it is smooth, it is a very soft bronzer. You pick up a lot on your brush when you're applying this, so it's not for the faint-hearted. Does come in several different shades. The shades that come beneath this one that are slightly lighter, actually in some instances a lot lighter in tone than this one, are more yellowy, and I didn't want a yellowy bronzer at the time of purchasing these, so I bought this one, which is actually light medium 300, and although maybe this is slightly too deep for my complexion, with a very light hand, this is the perfect undertone. So it does have a very neutral undertone, but it does have those pinky hues in there. It also has a little bit of bronziness in there as well. Again, very soft, very smooth, airbrushing on the skin. I love it, and it's so affordable. It truly is definitely worth going and having a look at. Okay, let's do my top spots. Top spot for cream bronzer has to be the Rare Beauty in the shade Happy Soul. This is my go-to. Like I said in this video already, I've gone through so many of these and I try a lot of cream bronzers out. This is the best of the best of the best as far as I'm concerned. However, very close behind it is the Lifter Sticks in the shade 65. If I'm wanting a really bronzy look, I would go for this one. Like I said before, the shade 30 is just slightly too light for me, but it may be perfect for you. The powder bronzers are slightly more difficult to narrow down, but I have managed to do it. So we're going to do luxury powder bronzers first and go for my second place, which is the All Hours Hyper Bronze. This is just beautiful. It doesn't look like powder bronzer when it's on my skin. It just melts into my complexion, and I can load this up, build it up as I desire, and I never really look overdone. It just never looks messy or tangerine on me. I love it. I do have 2 shades, the 01 and the 02. I can't pick between them both. I need them both. In number 1 spot is a relatively new find for me. This is from Vive. It's the Modern Bronzer in the shade Light. I love how you can modify this depending on what you need. So instead of buying 2 bronzers, like the YSLs, I can just have 1 bronzer and modify this depending on whether I'm wanting cool, whether I'm wanting neutral, or whether I'm wanting warm. So if I'm wanting neutral, mix them both together. Warm, Light 2, cool, Light 1. I mean, it's just multi-dimensional, and the packaging is superb for a mid-range product. I wouldn't say this is a luxury product, definitely mid-range. I think it is superb, absolutely beautiful. affordable, and yeah, I wouldn't be without it now I've tried it. So let's move on to the more affordable options. In second spot, we have the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Matte Bronzer in the shade 300 Light Medium. This is divine on my skin, super soft, really creamy. If this was a blind test, I would not know that this was an affordable product. It is that good. It is really, really beautiful. In top spot, we have the Beauty Pie Awesome Bronze Powder Bronzer in the shade Sunnyside. Again, I also have the shade Goldilocks as well. So now I've done my favorites. Let's see all of the bronzers side by side, and I will label them for you, because even though I've hopefully explained myself well with the consistencies, the textures, and the undertones in this video, seeing them all side by side may help you choose which one is right for you, if any of them are right for you. I would love to hear which is your favorite bronzer, both cream and powder bronzers, if you have a fair to light skin tone. It used to be really difficult to be able to find a bronzer that suited our complexion, and now it's becoming a lot easier. But I've tried everything, so hopefully you don't have to. Now go into store, try them for yourself, see what they look like on your skin before you think of buying any of these. But every single one of the bronzers that feature in this video I think are exquisite, and you cannot go wrong. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you've thought about it in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave. Hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.